This is Toronto, the capital of North America, birthplace of funk, where the albino panther roams free. I'm your host, Don, and this is the Ridonculous Race.
Welcome to the Ridonculous Race review with your host, Not Real Don, aka Ryder. Hey guys, it's Ryder here. Ridonculous Race came out last Monday, September 7th. Today is Saturday. I'm going to try to be doing these maybe every Saturday, maybe every Sunday, because I have to explain something. So basically, all the Ridonculous Race episodes, they're weekdays. There's a new episode every single weekday. So there was like a two-parter episode Monday, and that was part 1 and part 2 of episode 1. So I guess that's kind of episode 1 and 2. Tuesday was episode 3, Wednesday was episode 4, Thursday was episode 5, and yesterday, Friday, was episode 6. They're taking a break for today and tomorrow, and back on Monday, we will be seeing a new episode, and it seems like that's how they're going to do it. So far, I'm loving the show. Seriously, I really am. I wasn't the biggest fan of Pakatu Island. That was probably my least favorite season out of all of them. Some people like that one. I just felt like the characters were kind of annoying. I didn't really care for the new island. I really didn't love the new cast. You know, like that Snow White character. It wasn't really actually Snow White, but Snow White inspired that character. Then they had them evil mad scientist, and they had the LARP dude. And the LARP dude was actually part of the Ridonculous Race. And just spoiler alert, him and his partner were eliminated first on episode 2 of the Ridonculous Race. So they did try to incorporate that, but I didn't really care for Pakatu Island, and I think the Ridonculous Race is Cartoon Network and Fresh TV and all of that. It's their response to okay, fine. People may have been getting tired of Chris, which I wasn't getting tired of Chris, but the whole deal with the island, I loved Total Drama Island. I loved Total Drama The Revenge of the Island. Those two were great. And then they reused the original island again for Total Drama All-Stars. Now that's 3 seasons where you use the island. Now there's only so much new interesting stuff you can do on the island. Then they blow up the original island because, whatever, Total Drama All-Stars, and then we get Pakatu Island, which you can never replace the first island. So then it just got to the point where it's alright, I've seen this before. So I don't think Pakatu Island was a hit. I don't think it was what Cartoon Network wanted it to be. I don't think it's what the creators of Total Drama needed it to be. Now, here we are, today's the September 12th, big day, Power Rangers Dino Charge this morning, and I'm here to tell you that I think Cartoon Network, I think Fresh TV, I think the creators of Total Drama have just found a brand new Total Drama property that can go for another 7 seasons. Boom. Boom. Yes. Hell yes. About a month ago, wasn't even sure when this show would be premiering. I was pissed off because I thought it would only be premiering in Canada. Because, it was already on in Canada. Man, was I wrong. I love everything about this show. This definitely has to get, this is the 7th season. I think it makes it into my top 5 seasons. So, it's a great show. First, you might be wondering, alright, why the hell should I watch this? I'm a fan of the original cast, and then I liked the new cast that they brought on in Season 4, The Revenge of the Island, and then I liked All-Stars. I didn't really care for Pakatu Island, I didn't care for that cast. Why should I tune into this show? Because there's a brand new cast I'm probably going to hate. Well, my answer to that is give them a chance. That's my first answer. My second answer is that there are some returning characters. There is a whole team that is basically a throwback to Total Drama, and that is Noah and Owen. Now, I gotta be honest. they are not the main characters. You can already tell that they are definitely main characters, but there are other teams that they choose to focus on more. Why? Because Noah and Owen have had their spotlight. Owen won in season 1, I think in season 1, and Noah was there. I mean, they were there through the world tour. They were there in straight 3 seasons, and they were even brought back in certain episodes in season 4 and season 5. So, it's not like they were, it's not like they haven't had their spotlight time. So there's that, but they're a lot of fun. They are, Noah is actually, I feel like Noah's funnier now than he even was in Total Drama. Then you have Jeff. So Jeff, he's the surfer dude who was dating Bridget, and, he had the cowboy hat all the time, but he was like, gnarly bro, dude, man. That was him. That was Jeff. His partner is another surfer dude, because Bridget is on, a surfing... She's surfing in Australia or something like that, and I don't know, whatever. But he's got his friend Brody. Him and Brody are actually really funny, because they're just I don't know, there's a really funny wallpaper, and it's just the two of them knuckle bumping. And it's it's just funny. It's because you have to see the show to understand the humor. So there is that. Jeff was from the original seasons as well. So, there's definitely throwbacks. Number 2, this cast is actually pretty good. There are certain teams that just annoy the living shit out of me. And, of course, those teams were eliminated within the first 5 episodes. Really, though, they didn't eliminate anybody in the first episode, and they didn't eliminate anybody in the 5th episode because it was a non-elimination challenge. So only 4 teams have been eliminated, but so far they have been my least favorite ones. And like I said, spoilers. So those are the LARPers, the science math, girls, whatever, the vegans, and the tennis dads. Or whatever, they're not the tennis dads, the tennis rivals. I don't know, I feel like they're just dads for some reason. But, the tennis guys. They're the old tennis players. So they've all been eliminated. Now, I felt like the tennis people, the tennis guys, they were kind of funny at times. But at the same time, I feel like they just kind of brought, a weight to the show. And I didn't like that. So, really, I think they've eliminated 4. I mean, sorry if one of those 4 were your favorite. I'm not a fan of any of those teams. So, right now, we've got 14 teams left, because we started with 18. We have 14 teams left, and so far, I think the race is actually getting really exciting. We're really diving deep into each character and each team. Like I said, we have Noah. Then one of my favorites is the Adversity Brothers. Now they have this sad music that plays in the background, and they are just funny, but they're also just how they're always telling us how they get over things, and then just the worst things possible just happen to them. It's just they're pretty funny. I like the black couple. I forget their names, but there's this one really big guy, and he has his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's always yelling at him because he's messing up. It's fun. I forget their names because it's hard. There's so many characters right now. It's hard to remember all their names. But there's those guys I like. The cops are funny. They are really funny. I like them a lot. Then you have Devin and Carrie. Devin and Carrie, they're the best friends. They are probably one of my favorite teams. I feel like they are the underdogs. They are the normal people, it seems like, that kind of remind me of, Zoe and Mike. Although Mike did have that multiple personality disorder, but, I just feel like there's a sense of reality with them. All the other teams are just, out of control, There's this mother and daughter one, and this daughter is just such an asshole to her mother. And her mother's just takes it. That's definitely non-realistic. When you're if I was on a reality TV show with my mom, and I was just yelling at her, saying she's stupid, things would be bad for me. So, I feel like that's a little bit unrealistic. But they are kind of funny at times. They're the other sisters. I forget their names, but they're the student sisters. I forget their names. Because like I said, there's so many names. The father and son are really funny. The dad is just always just saying that he's just hitting on, he's like an older dad, but he's like hitting on some of these like women that he just sees, and then the son's just like, Dad, you know mom's watching this, and he's like, oh shit, you know, and it's like, you know, I just think that they're a good dynamic, I think. Like I said, I already mentioned Noah and Nolan, I already mentioned Jeff and Brody. Who else do we have? There's a lot of other ones, The Goths. The Goths just, I mean, and just insane. Like, they had won a challenge, and Don's just like, whoa, dudes, you guys won, awesome! And they're just like, yeah, we won. And he's like, are you going to show, this is Don talking, are you going to show any sign of enthusiasm? Are you even happy that you won? And then it cuts to, like, like, the chat with the Goths, and they're just like, I'm ecstatic. They're just not, you don't see any emotion. They're just talking, but they're like, we are ecstatic. And then the guy goth goes, yeah, I'm about to pee my pants. And then the girl goth goes, God, stop being so, you know, so dramatic or something like that. And it was funny because, you know, I think they're pretty funny. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of other teams. Some other ones that stand out, Oh, the skaters. So they seem like the villains of this show. Now, each season has a overall kind of leading like bad contestant. Now, I'm not saying these are like villainish people. They are very peppy, but they would do anything to win. They kind of have like that darkness that Heather had, and you know, I think that's kind of interesting. So I'm a fan of them. They have a rivalry with the Cops. So the Cops are really fun. I already mentioned them. I like them a lot. Who else are we? Let's see. There's so many teams, like I was saying. We have 14 other ones. So, you've got the Rockers. So these are I'm assuming these guys are not going to make it that far. You know, they're not that interesting of characters. They're really not. And I'm not that excited with them to see them. You've got the Step Brothers. They are actually really funny. I think they will make it pretty far. I'm trying to think. Who else do we have? I couldn't have named them all. Well, I can't really think of any more off the top of my head right now. There's just, like I said, there's so many. But let me know which team right now is your favorite in the comments and who you want to win. Seriously, because this is going to be awesome. I can't wait for this and what's coming next with this show. I'm really excited for this. And now let's talk about Don. Now, people, calm down. I realize it's not Chris. And I know nobody can truly replace Chris, because Chris is just a character that is just beyond amazing. But Don is really close. I mean, he's almost there, you know. He's almost as good as Chris. And that's me talking after seeing 6 episodes of this thing. He is funny, he's got style, and he definitely does have some of that Chris flair. Now, like I said, Chris was like an insane psycho. I mean, he frickin' went to prison for a short period of time. But this guy, although he's not a frickin' crazy yet, he still has that edge Chris has. It's not as steep of an edge, but there's an edge there. And there's a lot of humor there as well. You know, I love how he gives these facts about these places, because they're traveling all around the world, 26 different countries. And he gives these facts that are either kind of true or are for sure not even close to being true. This is Don. And like maybe he'll give like some like accurate facts, but most of the time he's just, you know, rambling about random bullshit, and it's just so funny. Really, you know, I'm really liking this character. So we haven't seen any signs of Chris or Chef somehow returning. My guess though is that if this season is successful, they will do another Ridonculous race season. I kind of hope that Chris and Don could be co-hosts, and they could bring back some of the original cast from the original Total Dramas and mix it with these new casts. You know, have most of the Ridonculous race cast stay, but maybe get like Lightning and somebody else, and Gwen and maybe Heather or Dakota and Sam, like, you know, something like that, and just bring back a couple other ones, and you know, you have another season of the Ridonculous race. I would love to see a co-host. I'd love to see Don and Chris kind of talk, but if Chris never comes back, I'm going to be sad, but at the same time, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to hate Don for not being Chris. Also, I feel like it'd be really cool in a future season, if we saw Chris and Chef competing on the show. I feel like that could be so much fun. We've seen Chris be the host for 6 seasons in a row, and Chef's his like assistant, and we've never seen what can Chris do. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. But it's not really called Total Drama, the Ridonculous Race. Don just calls it the Ridonculous Race. It's really called Total Drama Presents the Ridonculous Race. That's the technical name for it, but on Cartoon Network, it's really just called Total Drama, the Ridonculous Race. So there's Total Drama mixed in with it, but it's technically the Ridonculous Race. Overall, it's a really fun show, and I think that you guys, if you were a fan of the original, you are going to absolutely love this. I am so excited for what's coming next, and also, I love the different scenery and locations. I think it really adds a nice flavor to it, and it's just a lot of fun overall. So make sure you guys go check that out, and go check out the new episode of the animation block for this week. It's a lot of fun. We got Wabbit, the Looney Tunes production. We've got the Patrick SpongeBob special, and more Ridonculous Race stuff, news, chats, talks, all in that episode 5 of the animation block. And make sure you like this video and comment for me to do more Total Drama Ridonculous Race reviews and chats. You're not Don, aka Ryder, and thanks for watching, guys. This is the Ridonculous Race.